Hi, my name is Bob Scott. I work for the Arkansas Archaeological Survey at our UAPB research station. That's University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and I've been employed by the survey for 13 years altogether. From 2004 to 2007, I worked at our UAM research station. Went back to grad school, came back in 2010, worked for our ASU research station in Jonesboro. From 2010 to fall of 2013 when I transferred to UAPB. I have 3 degrees all in anthropology. My bachelor's is from Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. I got my master's from the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and I returned to SIU Carbondale for my PhD. My first archaeological experience was a summer field school in 1995 through the Center for American Archaeology in Campbellsville, Illinois. The field school was held at a late woodland site in the sort of the edge of the uplands along the lower Illinois River Valley. The heat index is 115 that summer. But I kind of got hooked at that point and just kept going. Stayed with it ever since. Now, as far as my research interests are geographically, I'm primarily focused on east central and greater southeast Arkansas, particularly the Mississippi Alluvial Valley. More specifically, I'm really interested in the late prehistoric period and contact period, sometimes produce the protohistoric period. I'm also interested and done a lot with analyzing identification and analysis of archaeological mussel shell. There's a lot of information that we can get from faunal remains from archaeological sites. As far as mussel shell goes, the identification, taxonomic identifications can tell us a lot about the pre-modern distribution and density of species before modern environmental impacts, such as impoundment, pollution, and other things. And it has potential applied research value in that conservation biologists can look at the data we have on species distribution to see how ranges have changed. And in some cases, archaeological analyses of mussel shell have resulted in some extensive range extensions. And more recently, though, a lot of work that I've done research-wise has focused on areas of the state where we still have a relatively coarse, rudimentary archaeological sequence or culture histories. Essentially going through old collections to see what data we have that we can use to start refining what we know about the prehistory in some areas. Now, as far as why did I go into archaeology as a career, I just sort of stayed with it after that field school in high school. That's where I'm going to leave that answer to that question. So what classes do I teach? Well, here at UAPB, I taught Introduction to Anthropology. I teach part-time as an adjunct faculty. So more or less when they need me to. So, but I've pretty much taught every year that I've been here since 2013, at least one class. Hope to actually be able to teach Arkansas Archaeology, maybe an archaeological lab methods class at some point in the future. As far as what we do all day, well, so before COVID, I worked a lot on reorganizing our station's research collections. Each of our research stations actually maintains, curates artifact collections from excavations or archaeological surveys that personnel at our research stations have done. And those actually date back all the way to 1968 with the first station archaeologists. We also have large donated collections. Actually, some of the one of the largest collections that we have is material that a gentleman named Joe Madonia from Phillips County had collected for a few decades. And what was important about his collection is that he actually maintained site provenience on his artifacts. So everything he picked up from a given location, he marked he put in a bag and marked as being from that location. So it's really valuable data, and his collection literally takes up an entire aisle in our collections range. Another main thing we do is answer questions that people have about Arkansas archaeology or history. Often these questions are about identifying artifacts. People email us pictures. We're usually willing to go visit people at their home to identify artifacts or elsewhere. And frequently visit landowners to look at sites that they may have on their property, or if they think they have an archaeological site. If they just want to know more about it, we will go visit the site, and frequently with permission. We'll do a small surface survey or shovel test survey, essentially to figure out the size of the site, the relative age from any temporary diagnostic artifacts, then also record the precise geographic location so we can actually officially record it in our state site file. And when we have the opportunity, we also sort of conduct, small sort of long-term informal projects, conducting archaeological surveys and small-scale test excavations at sites and areas where we still have rudimentary knowledge of the archaeological record, particularly Lower White River Valley, Lower White River, parts of the Felsenthal region. We still have a lot to learn, a lot we want to know. Those public outreach efforts, what we do, like a lot of the other station archaeological survey personnel, public lectures and talks about our research in different parts of the state. Every March, which is Arkansas Archaeology Month, we usually host a series of events, public lectures, artifact identification events, and sometimes Saturday activities. Here we do in Pine Bluff sort of a family fun day with the Arts and Science Center, and we just have a series of archaeology themed activities for kids, which can be a lot of fun. I learned to put them to work doing some basic artifact illustration for us and counting. And that's probably one of the best parts of the job, is actually working with the public and getting people interested, especially children, and how much information that we can actually get from working with the public, answering their questions, and a lot of times they actually provide us insight, things we never had previously thought of. So, but that is it for me, and thank you for watching, listening, whatever it is.